So information sources and service. In this course of study, you have four blocks. This course is divided in four blocks as per your study materials: documentary sources, non-documentary sources, information services, information use and user studies. So let us start with the block one, documentary sources. Here you have another four units. The first unit we discuss the categorization of sources. The second unit discuss the primary sources, and third unit discuss the secondary and tertiary sources, and the fourth unit discuss the criteria of evaluation. So before going through all this, so let us know what is information. Information that the set of facts and details about anything we get from someone or something is called information. Information should be accurate, related, timely, and advantageous. So in the block number one, documentary sources, with the advent of printing from a movable type in 1450s, the production of publications increased enormously, giving rise to the different types of publications such as books, pamphlets, and periodicals. Before that, there were only one kind of publishable and published materials were available. I have given in the first beginning itself. So from clay mud models to on paper. So there were only few printed sources are were available. After the printing publication increased enormously, giving rise on different types of publications such as books, pamphlets, and periodicals. The handwritten documents like manuscripts, notes, and diaries continued to coexist along with the printed documents. So all these form the documentary sources of information, and there are some non-documentary sources of information also available, like the government and non-government offices, institutions, and human beings continued as a close allies of documentary sources. Documentary and non-documentary sources forms the entire amount of information sources. In this block, we shall deal only with the documentary sources of information. Non-documentary sources of information will be dealt with separately. Information sources may also be divided as published and unpublished sources. Published and unpublished sources can be further divided as a primary, secondary, and tertiary sources. That, let me clear this one. So in the first unit, so we shall discuss first of all, published and unpublished sources are enumerated, and then how different authors have tried to categorize the documents is discussed along with the criteria by they have followed for categorization. So the characteristics of a categorization by each author are commented upon. Categorization by different authors has given rise to certain disciplines which have been discussed item by item. So causes of the descriptions are elaborated, and the proper placement of the specific item is also suggested. Then in the second unit, primary sources comprise of research periodicals, technical reports, conferences, proceedings, patents, standards, thesis, project reports, official publications, trade literatures, laboratory notes, diaries, internal research reports, correspondence, personal files, etc. So are defined, explained, and discussed with the examples. Some of the publications have been divided according to their types of, and each type is discussed with the definitions and explanations that you will go through your study materials. In the unit 3, so discuss the secondary and tertiary sources are dealt with the Secondary sources comprise of bibliography, secondary periodicals, for example, like abstracting, indexing, reviewing, and popular periodicals, and many more reference books such as encyclopedias, dictionaries, handbooks, manuals, yearbooks, directories, formularies, and textbooks. All these are discussed with adequate examples. Tertiary sources include bibliography of bibliographies, directory of directories, library catalogs and guides to information sources. So all these have been discussed in some detail with examples. In the fourth unit deals the criteria of evaluation for all these sources. It should be recommended. Remember that evaluation criteria vary from category to category because the kind of the criteria vary from category to category. The criteria we use for evaluating a dictionary will not be same from the for the a primary periodicals. So how can we explain the word source? Source means the book, person, place, point, or thing which originates the information about something, that is called we call as a source. According to the some of the definitions, source means the book which gives information, or the person gives information, or the place which gives information. If you visit any historical place, there will get some information by seeing that place. The point whereby the information is obtained, and the thing which generates the information, which is called as a source. So let us see the information source and information resource. What is the difference between the information source and information resource? In the very beginning, it is better to be clear about the concept information source and information resources. The two terms, source and resource, have started creating confusion ever since the term information resource has appeared on the scene. Prior to the emergence of this term, there was no confusion about the term information source. So, as this term used cannot a document or non-document. Example, an institution that provide information as such as encyclopedia, a specialist, etc., where the source of information, such as mostly librarians and information scientists, deal with the information sources. The term information resource pertains to information and communication technologies, especially to information management. Sometimes information management is referred to as a information resource management. So the resources are systems support, including the computers and telecommunications, processing data, images, etc. Conversion and transformation, including reprographics, distribution and communication, including network management and telecommunication. And finally, retention, storage, and retrieval, which covers libraries, record centers, filing systems, and internal and external databases. So here is the difference between the sources and the resources. So in the unit 1, so we'll go through the categorization of sources. Documentaries, there are different categories of sources of information. Maybe documentary sources, non-documentary sources, print sources, non-print sources, published sources, unpublished sources, primary sources, secondary sources, tertiary sources, macro and micro sources, conventional and non-conventional sources, which is macro and micro sources and conventional non-conventional sources coined by the Dr. S.R. Ranganathan. We'll study in for detail next process. So let us start with the documentary sources. All sources in the form of documents are documentary sources. In a very simple term, we can define it. The connotation of all term documentation has undergone sea change in recent years and now includes books, periodicals, manuscripts, videotapes, computer files, and databases. A selective, here are the some of the selective list of sources is given like this: books, treatise, monographs, textbooks, reference books, books may be any kind of, and manuscripts, periodicals, patents, some standards, thesis, a research work, conference documents, and reports, technical administrative tips. Okay, there are some articles, popular technical research, globes is also in a documentary. So now they have considered diaries and the letters of any eminent persons or any scientist or any official letters, you can say, office files, CD-ROM recordings, so video recordings, database, computer files, laboratory notebooks. Let me clear here one thing that based as per the types of library, so we have different types of sources of information or resources we'll find in the libraries. If you go to any research particular special library, any research institution, whereas ISRO, there will find that variety of materials which are relevant and needed to the scientist working in that place. Like that, for academic you go or any public library, there the needs of users are vary from academic or special library in the public library. So in that we have to collect and store the information in library. Then non-documentary sources. So we have three types of non-documentary sources of information: humans, and organizations, and World Wide Web nowadays. So in the humans, we have information professionals, sources, consultants, so experts, resource persons, extension workers, representative of firms, any technological gatekeepers, invisible college, common men, etc. The non-documentary sources. Organizations like international agencies, government ministries and departments, so research and development organizations, academic institutions, societies, publishing houses, press, broadcasting houses, libraries and information centers, museum, archives, exhibitions, trade fairs, database of vendors, information analysis center, referral center. So these are all comes under the non-documentary. They are producing some one or the other kind of information sources, which is called as a non-documentary sources. Then comes print sources. All the sources that are in the print form are print sources. Very simple term, very simple definition we can give for this. Some of the examples of the print sources are given below. So books, periodicals, patents, standards, conference documents, reports, articles, etc. And there are some non-print sources, documentary sources that are not printed form, are all non-print sources, such as manuscripts, thesis, project reports, diaries, letters, office files, as we have already discussed, microforms, CD recordings, video recordings, databases, and computer files, e-publications. They are not in the printed version. So they are all in the electronic formats. So then comes the published sources and unpublished sources. So these sources are documentary sources, both printed and non-printed. They are brought out by publishers in a large number of copies, usually priced and sold. Some of the examples we can give: periodicals, books, patents, standards, again conference documents. They are published not only in single copy, they are published in more than one copy. Okay, CD recordings, video recordings, database, etc. So then unpublished sources, these documentary sources are neither published nor produced in the large number of copies. They are very less in the number and usually are not for sale. Unpublished sources at times can turn into published sources as well. For example, letters written by Rabindranath Tagore have been published in a book from formed by Vishwa Bharati at a later dates. Okay, some of these examples unpublished sources are given here. manuscripts typed or handwritten. So this is projects, diaries, letters, office files, laboratory notebooks, memoranda, medical records. Okay, these are unpublished sources, we can say. So as we have discussed, there are three mainly. Actually, in the very beginning of in those days, we used to study only information sources in these three categories only. Now they have given it in a published, unpublished, printed, and non-printed, in variety of information as advan- advancement in the various forms of so information are publishing and producing. We have categorized like this. Basically, there are only primary sources, secondary sources, and tertiary sources. So some internet disturbance here. So primary sources will be considered as a primary source in case it carries newly generated information, original work of a research, or a new interpretation of already known facts is called a primary source. The document is in the first and often the only first published information, you can say. So these are all called, this is called primary sources. Then secondary sources. A source which is more or less completely dependent on primary sources for its existence is a secondary source. Information in secondary source is organized and arranged according to a definite plan. Indexing and abstracting periodicals are one of the examples of secondary sources. So then comes tertiary sources, the sources that is entirely dependent on secondary sources or primary sources. Secondary sources for its existence, it is a tertiary source. Sources like guides to reference sources and a bibliography of bibliographies. Suppose if you want to know the types of different dictionaries, there are if you want to know the list of encyclopedias, you will have in a tertiary sources. Bibliography of bibliographies. So are examples of the tertiary sources. Then comes the macro and micro documents. As Dr. S. R. Ranganathan categorized these source information. So whereas macro document, when a work expressing macro thought is embodied into a document, all by itself is called a macro document. A book may be considered as a macro document, and a micro document. See the difference between the macro and micro. So whereas macro document expressing macro thoughts is embedded into a document, all itself is called a macro document. And a micro document, a work expressing micro thought, say a journal article, which is giving exactly concentrated only on one particular issue, it is published. This is called a micro document, we can say. Journal article is usually not embedded into a document all by itself. Several micro documents comprise a macro document. When they are printed together in the macro document, take for example, in the year 2010 issue of the Annals of Library Information Studies. In this particular issue, there are 15 different articles. Each of article is micro document, giving different kinds of publishing, expressing different kinds of thoughts on particular one subject, not in a whole, one concept. This is extremely broad categorization of based on the volume of thoughts contains. It does not go into numerous types of documents prevalent in the world. Neither does it takes into account of the various forms of the content of a document take a, while passing from primary source to tertiary phases. Then again, Dr. S. R. Ranganathan categorized conventional and non-conventional documents. So what is conventional documents? A conventional document is one which paper forms the basic material on which recording is done by a phonetic symbol forming the script of a articulate natural or artificial language, or non-conventional script such as a braille, or non-phonetic symbol such as a drawing, or simply by writing. You take any drawing that gives some information to you. So Ranganathan Ji has classified it here as a conventional documents. So these documents are used for the communication of thoughts contents. Some examples of conventional documents are journals, serials, books, articles, braille books, stenographs, for books with musical notations, or maps, atlas, and similar documents and written manuscripts are categorized in the conventional documents. Then non-conventional documents. So documents which is reproduced from the conventional document either on a paper or any other non-paper material. Sometimes these documents are highly reduced in size, so requiring a device for reading it. For example, microfilms. So here you can give any information which is recorded in a microfilm format. So we need a device for reading this kind of sources. So non-conventional document records sound on a paper media, for example, gramophone record, or sound and picture together, or a non-paper media. So video recording, you can say simple pictures on a non-paper media. These are all comes under the non-conventional documents. So I think time is running out of these things, only 40 minutes, but we'll continue here. Please speak, keep logging. So there are some institutions as a sources of information. Institution as a sources of information. So in the unit 6, we will study here a government ministries and department which are producing some kind of information sources for in general for and international agencies there are, and there are research and development organizations, academic institutions producing some sources of information to the library or any other form of sources information, learner societies, publishing houses and press and broadcasting stations, museums, archives, and there are some non-governmental organizations, NGOs. So they are all institution as a sources of information that you will study in the unit 6 in detail. So there are media as a sources of information. Take media nowadays, very elaborate in a meaningful this we are using the media, a variety of medias. Okay, they are producing some kind of information. They are also considered as a sources of information. So mass media, there are some characteristics, the scope and functions is defined in the unit 7, and the positive influences and negative influences of these media sources of information. Components, there are variety of components of mass media. Print media you can take, for example, newspapers and other things, radio broadcastings, televisions, recordings on such as a CD on DVDs. So motion films. These are all media as a sources of information. Then comes block number 3, information service. So in block number 3, information services. So we will discuss about the variety of information services which libraries and information centers are providing to meet the information needs of the various categories of users. So in these blocks, there are 3 units, namely information services and overview, and the types of services, reference services, current awareness services, selective dissemination of information service, and indexing service, abstracting service. There are variety of services which you can study in block number 3, information services. Then the literature search and the database services. There are some institutions working and giving the database service to the by price or by taking some amount, and on the fee basis they are giving the literature search, which we cannot find it in our local libraries or any other these things. Instead of going and searching and wasting time, so there are some institutions which are giving literature search and database services, which has more required to your any kind of research or any kind of requirement of the information. So then block number 4, information use and user studies. So the theme of this book, this block for information use and user studies. So discuss here, you can discuss just like so in this unit, discuss the importance of user education for the new entrants to the library, and also explains the new concept of information literature in this context. So user education is a service designed for libraries by libraries to help users to know the services provided by them. So whenever, if you're in an academic institution or in a public library, take any kind of a library, if a new user arrives in your library, he may ask you what are the services given and what are the facilities and sources of service available in your library. Then you have to organize some user education programs. In our colleges, what we do whenever a new batch of students arrive, taken admission in the colleges, so we'll conduct user education for the new entrants. So there we will introduce the library and collections and the library services, what are the benefits and other things, just motivating the students to read use the library services. So there are some procedures, there are some ways we have to conduct the user education, that we will discuss in the unit number 11. Then comes unit 12, is on user studies in the libraries and information centers. This unit is focused on the users to know their characteristics, information needs. So as a librarian, it is your primary duty to not only just giving, you are not just giving and receiving the books and other things services. Here your role as as a lifelong learners, as a librarians, we have to always keep studying the variety of characteristics and information needs of the different users, their variety of information needs. On that basis, we have to evaluate and collect and disseminate the information in a new method or any other using technological assistance. We have to give the information to the user. For this, we need to have studies. Okay, so just receiving some books and acquiring some materials to the library and just disseminating to the users. So you are a mediator between the sources or information and to the users. Your duty is not only to supply the information to the users, whereas you have to study you have to evaluate the information needs of the users, what type of information they need, what type, how, in what method and in what view they all want information to be presented, that you have to study and adopt it and give it to the give good service to the library. That is very important in a single term, you can say. So in the unit 12, you will discuss all this user studies and other things. In next unit 13 deals with conducting information user studies in the libraries to examine the use of their resources and services. It explains the meaning and other needs of for doing the such a studies. So detailed you will have in your materials. Let me clear once again here. So what is basically primary sources that informative sources which generate the information that does not exist already in the primary source. What is primary source? Primary source are that informative sources which generate the information that does not exist already. The primary sources breaks out the new information that generate, like that give the new birth to the new information. Primary sources provide original information or ideas. Primary sources give unorganized information. Then secondary sources, when the information breaks out from the primary sources, then secondary sources gather the information and polish it. Secondary sources have organized information. Secondary sources make the information easy to understand. Secondary sources consist of already published information instead of a new one. For example,